Asante. Thank you very much. Nairobi United hoye. Hoye. Hamjambo. Assalamu alaikum. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Asanteni sana. Wacha nichukue nafasi hii kwanza niwakaribishe katika makao haya ya Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Karibuni. Mimi naelewa pia kwamba nyinyi ni watu wa shughuli mingi, na kupata nafasi ya kunitembelea pengine inaweza kuwa ngumu, lakini mkipata nafasi kidogo mnakaribishwa tena. Kwanza mimi nataka niseme pongezi, congratulations. Ushindi mlioupata mumenieleza ya kwamba ni kwa sababu ya Mwenyezi Mungu na bidii na usaidizi wa patron wenu na wale wengine wote, coaches na mlisema anaitwa kochare, makochare na wale wengine wote. Na leo hapa tumekuja kusherehekea ushindi wenu, and I want to say in a very, very special way to Team Nairobi United, congratulations. You have exceeded all expectations. There are many people who did not imagine that a small team with no big brand name could win these championships. But because Kenya is a country of the art of the possible, you have won, and I can say from the experience and from the discussions I have had and from the history, this win is very well deserved. And as was said by the good gentleman who spoke in perfect Kiswahili, you went, you tried for one, God gave you a blessing of two. So you have 2 cups here which you have won out of your commitment, your dedication, your hard work. And I want to say, I know success doesn't come easy. It takes effort. It takes commitment. It takes trust in God. And it takes teamwork for there to be success. And I want to encourage you to continue to be each other's brother, each other's keeper, work together as a team, as was explained by your patron, that you are now a family, and build the bonds of family, of friendship, of unity amongst yourselves. Together, that is what will guarantee you not just the success that you have achieved, but even the Premier League, by God's grace, next year. From very humble beginnings, today you're here at Statehouse. And I often get people who tell me that I have lowered the standards of Statehouse. And the accusation I get is that those who used to come here, whenever they come here now, they cannot recognize anybody. Because the people who nowadays come here are ordinary people who have no status, who have no stature, who have no brand, who have no big names. You know? Wananiambia ya kwamba ati nimeteremsha sana standard ya Statehouse. Ati wale walikuwa wanakuja hapa watu ambao wamejulikana, watu wenye pesa mingi, former governor this, former sijui nani huko. Ati siku hizi wakikuja hapa Statehouse, ati hawajui, hawatambui wale watu wanakuja huko siku hizi. Ni watu tu reja, watu tu kawaida, watu hawana. Lakini ni kwa sababu hata mimi ni mtu tu kawaida, nimefika hapa kwa mapenzi ya Mungu. Kuna watu walikuwa na matatizo sana, hata saa hizi bado hawajaamini mimi ni rais, bado wanahangaika. Si ndio? Lakini Mungu ni nani bwana? Mimi ndio niko hapa kwa sasa. Wajipange. Mimi ndio niko hapa kwa sasa, kwa mapenzi ya Mungu I'm here. Tunaelewana? So mimi nataka vile Sakaja amewaambiwa mujiamini. Si ndio? Mujiamini. Kwa sababu mkijiamini na muamini Mungu, nothing is impossible. Yale yote ambayo mmepangia, yale yote ambayo mmetarajia, Mungu atawawezesha. Bidii kwa kujitolea, by doing what you must. Kujituma. Usingoje mambo ya kupate nyumbani. You must step out. You must try again, and never give up. God will finally make it possible for you to get what you're looking for. So congratulations, my good friends. And you make us very, very proud. When I see the team, I try to catch up with some of your names. I could see that we have a national team here. A team of the Kenyan community. A team that is truly the face, the brand, and the architecture of Kenya. From all communities, from all faiths, people who come from different backgrounds, you have gelled into one formidable team that today we celebrate your success. And so it should be with our nation, So it should be with our nation. That is why I will stand firm to reject the politics of ethnicity and division and hate and the politics that creates divisions among us Kenyans. I will stand very firm. Yeah. We have a broad-based government today because I reached out to even people who we did not vote together, but because they are Kenyans. They belong to this country. And I want to tell you that the government of Kenya is big enough to accommodate every community and every region and every sector of our republic. The government of Kenya is big enough. But it is not big enough for those who have greed, who think it should just be them. It should just be our corner. It should just be our religion or our community or our sector. You will never get enough. But today I can confirm to you that the government of Kenya is big enough to accommodate every community, every religion, every sector, every county. And as president, I will make sure, by all means possible, by God's grace, to make sure that we unite this nation. We come together, build this nation together. Because that is the essence of patriotism and nationhood. That is how we move the country forward. And looking at you, you represent the best of Kenya, what Kenya can achieve when people come together. Many of us here have stories to tell of where they've been, how they have come along, what challenges they've come through, what difficulties they've been through. But today, we are a family. You people are a team. And together, you have won. And that is why we are celebrating here today. So, pongezi. As you have said, I made a policy decision that we are going to support sports as a government because Kenya is a great sporting nation. From ball games to athletics and everything in between. And that is why I made the decision that the sports fund is not going to be used to fund anything else, as was happening in the past. It will just concentrate on sports. And it is the reason why we are doing more for our sportsmen. We are looking at better avenues to resource, to reward, and to build infrastructure for our sportsmen and women. Today, I can proudly announce to you that the last time we built an international stadium in Kenya is 40 years ago, in 1984. Now, we are building a 35 billion shilling stadium right here in Jamhuri. And by the way, it's going to be ready by December. So, mujipange, ndio muwe wa kwanza wa kucheza pale. And it's going to be the largest stadium we have in Kenya. Football-only stadium. Yeah? Football-only stadium here in Jamhuri. So, 60,000-seater stadium. And it's not just that stadium. We are, as you know, we are building a stadium in Kakamega. We've just completed one in Bungoma. We are building a stadium in Ruringu in Nyeri. We've completed renovations so that we can hand over the stadium in Meru. We have one in Tharaka Nithi. We are now completing the stadium in Moyale. We are building a stadium in Siaya, which we are about to put a canopy on it. And on and on and on and on. And we are building another 35 sports academies where we are going to have different ball games and sports in those sports academies that come with us a little field and track and other things and associated infrastructure, because we are a sporting nation as Kenya, and therefore we must focus on how we encourage, how we build the talents of the young people of Kenya in sports and in the creative economy in general, to make sure that that talent becomes commercialized, helps and assists young people find opportunities to work, find opportunities for investment, and build a whole of society momentum using sports and other avenues to drive our country, Kenya, forward. So, good people, I am very proud to have a partner in Sakaja, the governor of Nairobi. Thank you very much, Governor. And thank you very much for standing in the gap for these young people. You know, very few people can deploy their resources, you know, to support others, to work with others, to lend a hand for the people who need it, and to work with teams like the way my good brother Sakaja has, especially around where young people are. So I'm very proud of this. When he requested me that there is Nairobi United that won the FKF Cup, I told him without a doubt, I'll create time. We must look out. And I want to tell the young people of our nation, the young people of our nation are the greatest resource we have. It is the reason why I have put more resources in making sure that our young people are educated, they are trained. We have increased the budget on education by 120 billion to make sure that there are teachers, there is sufficient resources to make sure that our young men and women in primary school, in secondary school, in our universities, get the best education they can get, because that resource of human capital, especially the young people of our nation, is the greatest asset we have as a nation. It is the reason why we are also, you know, working on the curriculum to make sure that Those who are good in academics get an opportunity to be their best. Those who are good in sports also get the opportunity to be their best. And those who are good in the creative economy can also be the best that they can be. And we continue to support education, training in all its, spectra, from sports to the creative economy, all the way to academics, because we have talents in all those spaces. It is also the reason why, apart from spending 650 billion shillings every year in the education and training of the young people of Kenya, for the first time, let me say it again, for the first time in the history of Kenya, we have a coherent plan and program of how to create opportunities for work for the young people of our nation. I say this without fear of any contradiction, because there has never been a clear plan on how we are creating jobs, a plan that is intentional, that is deliberate on how we create job opportunities. When I rolled out the program on housing, many people were asking me, what the hell about houses? What is this about houses? Who doesn't have a house? We had all manner of debates around housing. Let me tell you, it wasn't so much about the jobs. It wasn't so much about the houses. It was so much about the jobs. Today, I can tell the nation that because of the housing program, for which I have paid a very high political price, there are 320,000 people, young people, working, engineers, quantity surveyors, architects, plumbers, electricians, masons, carpenters, name them, working in our housing program. And not just housing, in the markets we are building, in the hostels we are building. And I am very proud that today there are people who earn money, who have a wage to look after their families. They have food on the table, and they are making progress. It is deliberate, it is intentional. I can also tell you today, because we have rolled out our digital jobs program across Kenya. I was in Ruiru the other day at the Tattoo City, where CCI has given opportunities to 5,000 people, young people, in one building to earn money, to have a job. And they are on and on and on. Just last month, Teleperformance, the largest BPO company in the world, has just opened up an office in Nairobi. And it is because of our intentional and deliberate plan to create jobs for young people in the country, because we cannot spend 650 billion every year to educate our young people and train them if we don't have a commensurate plan on what they do when they get out of school. I can now tell you that we have close to 180,000 young people working on the digital jobs platform. And that platform is growing. We are now expanding it to every ward, in every constituency, in every county in the Republic of Kenya, because we can create more jobs. We can create more commerce. We can do more enterprise and more business using our digital jobs platform. And we are doing it intentionally. We were supplying internet, or fiber optic for that matter, using cables before. It took long, more expensive, but we have now developed a different way of deploying fiber optic around Kenya, using the transmission lines of Kenya Power. We are doing more, we are doing better, we are doing faster, And it is my intention that every ward in Kenya will have an ICT hub where between 300 and 500 young people can monetize their talents, can earn money, can do business, can have a job working for companies in Kenya, companies outside Kenya, because we need the young people of Kenya engaged. I can also tell you today proudly that we have streamlined our export of labor strategy. We have streamlined the program of Kenyans being able to work outside Kenya. And it's not just working outside Kenya. Ask any global company, they will tell you the best human capital, the best global workforce is the Kenyan workforce. That is why you find Kenyans everywhere, in every capital in our continent, in every major city globally, you have Kenyans because we have the best human capital. Less supervision, very hardworking, good English, very disciplined. That is what defines our nation. And I can tell you today that we have streamlined the space around National Employment Authority. We have removed the crooked people who are taking money away from young people and taking them to do odd jobs. We have removed all the bad behavior in that space. We have signed bilateral labor agreements to guarantee that every Kenyan who goes to work outside Kenya is safe and does the job for which they applied. And as a result, for the last 2 years, and those who are asking, they want to know the names, they can go to National Employment Authority. For the last 2 years, we have placed 400,000 Kenyans in different parts of the world to work, earn money, and repatriate that money to come back home. And my intention is to make sure that 1 million Kenyans in the next 2 to 3 years will be working outside Kenya. Because we are a global workforce. We have the talent, we have the knowledge, we have the expertise that we can deploy to grow our nation. And the good news, do you know how much money Kenyans working outside Kenya send home to Kenya every year? Now it's going to be, by this year, $5 billion. $5 billion. That is the wealth of our nation. That is the talent. That is the effort. That is the expertise of our Kenyan people. And therefore, it breaks my heart when people who have no plan for the young people of our nation take them to the streets, abuse them in the streets, misuse them in the streets, and we end up with mayhem, rape, destruction of property, destruction of businesses, because there are people who have no plan for the young people of our nation. They have no known or credible plan. They sing about the young people of Kenya. They talk about Gen Zs because they want to use them politically. I want to tell those people who have no plan, shame on them. They should be ashamed of themselves that they have taken advantage of our young people, taken them to the street, and misuse them. And today, our nation has a blot, you know. Biashara zimechomeka, watu wameharibiwa mali, tumepoteza maisha ya vijana wetu, tuko na majeraha na mambo haya mengine yote. Why? Because there are people who have no plan. They cannot tell the young people what they should be doing. I want to tell the young people of my nation, I want to tell the young people of Kenya, there are opportunities for work. There are opportunities for business. There are opportunities for you to make a difference in your life. Don't accept to be taken to advantage of by leaders, people who have no plan for your lives. And I say that without fear of any contradiction. I want to challenge those who today say they support the street protests. What is your plan? What is your plan for these young people? William Ruto, I have one plan, credible, tested, working. I have 320,000 young people working in my housing program. Engineers, architects, plumbers, quantity surveyors, carpenters, masons, working. I have 180,000 young people working in our digital jobs platform in different, both in special economic zones, in ICT hubs, in Jitume centers. I have 400,000 young people placed in different jobs in many parts of the world, and the list is going on. Our housing program is expanding opportunities. We are at 150,000 houses. We will be at 700,000 houses. We are at 320 jobs today. We are going towards 1 million jobs in the next 2-3 years. And so is the space around digital jobs. And so is our export of labor. What is your plan, you people who are taking our young people to the street? Tulizane ukweli? Yes. I want my plan to be tested on employment of young people, on dealing with the issues of young people. I want my plan to be tested against that of my competitors. Yeah? Because they don't have a plan. If you ask them, they don't have a plan. They will tell you kasongo, sijui nini, nothing. Sijui kama naelewana. Tuko pamoja? And so, I want to say this, and I'm very proud to be in the middle of young people. People wamejituma, you know? People who have come from different backgrounds, gone through difficulties, they've gone through challenges, but they've stayed focused. They've stayed on course. And today, we are celebrating Nairobi United. Yeah? Kweli? Yes. Not because you had it easy. Not because you came from a better background. Not because you have more education than others. But because you have committed yourselves to a course. You have stayed on the course. You have withstood different challenges. You've gone through difficult times, but you didn't give up. You were always there, pressing on. Today, we are celebrating Nairobi United. Your success. Look at what you have achieved. You know, you have defeated Tusker. You have defeated KCB. Do you know how big KCB is? They made 70 billion Kenya shillings this year. How much money did your team? You know? So it's not about the money. Yeah? If it was about the money, you wouldn't be here. Right? So you've defeated KCB. You've defeated Kogalo. You know? Gor Mahia. You know? The legend of football in Kenya. Your team, since 2018, just the other day. Right? But you're here. Why? Because mumejituma, you are determined, you have refused to give up, you are on it, you're focused, and that is why you have succeeded. That is the spirit That is the spirit. That is the spirit of what makes winners and what makes success. That is the spirit. So I am very proud to be associated with this team. Congratulations, my very best wishes. And I just want to confirm to you that we will continue to expand the space around infrastructure, you know. The other day, I saw some of the criminals. They tried to go and break into Talanta. They tried to break into some of our stadia. I mean, surely, what has a stadia got to do with a demonstration? Surely, how is a demonstration ending up in rape, destruction of property, destruction of business? What is that? What kind of a protest? When the law says whoever wants to protest, whoever wants to demonstrate must be peaceful and must be unarmed. That is the standard for any demonstration. But surely we need to ask ourselves as the people of Kenya, how is it that a demonstration or protest ends up in death, in rape, in destruction of property, in destruction of business? And is that really what we want to do as a nation? I dare say no. That's not what it is. And that's why I have said we must all respect the law, irrespective of who we are, irrespective of what we believe in. We have a nation to keep. And for now, I am the custodian of that constitution, and I will make sure that I will defend the constitution of the Republic of Kenya. Tuko pamoja, my friends? Yes. Until somebody else takes over, I am here, and I will make sure that hii mchezo tunawachana naye. So, the bus. The bus. You know, I have experience in buying buses because I have bought so many buses. Sasa mimi naona hii ya Sakaja hii sijaelewa hii ni gani. Sasa nitachukua lessons kidogo nijue hii ni gani. So lakini the bus you will get. Sasa nitapanga hapo kwa bus. Unajua biashara kubwa mimi nafanya, mimi nauza mayai. Mko na group inafanya hiyo Huko kwangu at the farm, if you come, I'm a chicken farmer. And I'm very proud of it, by the way. I'm very proud. It's the best business that I have. Kuuza mayai. So, na iko na biashara. Iko na pesa. Acha niwaambie. Ukitaka tips naweza kuwapatia. I have recruited many friends of mine when they come to my farm and they see mtu anasema, "Ai, nataka wacha niende nianze kidogo." Hata huyu nilimpeleka huko. So, unajua zamani tulikuwa tunaagiza mayai kutoka South Africa. Unaona ile upuzi iko hii dunia? I mean surely mayai anatoka South Africa inaweka kwa ndege na sisi tunang'etia tu hapa tuna hapana. So tuko hapo na sasa tunaendelea kuwa wengi kutengeneza hiyo biashara. That's how you grow a nation. That's how you create food security. Si ndio? So nitaangalia vile nitafanya hiyo biashara yangu itasaidia, nitawapangia basi. Nitawapangia basi. Sawa sawa. Alafu huyo jamaa alisema niwe investor. Kwa group zenu 5, okay? So lakini hamjanipatia investment plan. Mko nayo mpaka dividends. Haya, basi nitatafuta milioni 10 niweke kwa hiyo biashara. Milioni 2. si ndio? Lakini sasa dividend lazima, please. Musifanye tukakosana. Waeleze vizuri. Na niko na askari wengi, mkiniletea naweza kuwaletea noma sana. Sawa. So tutafanya hivyo, alafu tutapangana. Sawa sawa boss. Very good bwana Maina. Alafu ile mambo ingine nafikiri Sakaja atasort. Tanieleza. Nimekubali, mimi nafanya kazi na governor wetu hapa, he's doing a wonderful job. Mpigeni makofi. Tunashughulika na mambo ya barabara za Nairobi. I have already cleared bwana Sakaja, from next week tutengeneze barabara. Zingine barabara zilikuwa zimekwama hapa. You can now see the constructions are going on around the city of Nairobi, because vile governor anasema lazima Nairobi work, it must work. Na haiwezi kuwork kama hakuna barabara ya kupitia. So namshughulikia kumsaidia kupanga mambo ya barabara. Vile vile niko na mradi mkubwa. Unajua hapa Nairobi tuko na Nairobi River. Hii Nairobi River imekuwa sio river, ni Nairobi sewage. Sababu badala ya river ile inateremka huko sio maji, ni uchafu, ni oils imewekwa huko ndani, ni maji taka iko kule ndani. And I committed myself that Nairobi, being the United Nations Environmental Program headquarters, meaning that Nairobi is the capital of environment globally, or the global capital of environment, we must make Nairobi clean. So governor anashughulika na kupanga vile tutaokota takataka, tumalizane nayo, and I am supporting him. Lakini nilimwambia Nairobi River, mimi nitakusaidia, nitaosha Nairobi River. So I have started the program. Mutaona vile Nairobi River itabadilika. Na nimesema by tarehe 15 January 2027 I will have finished hiyo kazi. So mutaona saizi Nairobi hapa we are cleaning the nini, tutaweka gabion vizuri, tutaweka maji mpaka iwe maji ya Nairobi River it will be clean. Na tuweke samaki huko ndani na ikae sawa sawa. And alongside it tutajenga pia social housing, infrastructure, tutaweka mahali ya vijana kucheza mpira, tutaweka mahali ya recreation, tutaweka footpaths ya kutembea, so that we can have a city. It is one of the commitments that I have made, so that we can change the course of our city and make Nairobi work. Ndio. So inaanza kule karibu Kikuyu all the way mpaka Ruai. So that program is going on, and already I am mobilizing. We already have 20,000 young people working there. From next week or the week after, we are adding another 20,000 kufanya hiyo kazi hapa tu Nairobi, just to make sure that we clean up the city, we change the face of Nairobi, and we take it forward. Tunaelewana my friends? So unajua transformation ya nchi sio kazi rahisi. Ni kama kuzalisha mtoto. Iko makelele, zingine mama kujifungua iko nduru mingi, mimi nasikianga tu wa mama. So ndio hii kelele ya hapa saa zingine ni kwa sababu driving transformation is not easy. But without transformation you achieve nothing. You get stuck, you mark time, and you go backward sometimes. So I am committed to making sure that we change our country and we take the country forward. I know we have lunch, and you are wondering, huyu jamaa atamaliza saa ngapi? Hii lunch imengoja sana. Si ndio? So wacha niseme asanteni sana. Vile niliwaeleza, najua mko na shughuli. Na sio kidogo. Nyinyi ni watu wa kuhustle. Lakini mkipata kana nafasi kidogo, tafadhali mnitembelee tena. Sindio? So asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki sana. I wish you well, nyinyi na familia zenu na watoto wenu na majamaa zenu, mwapelekee salamu nyingi na baraka nyingi, na katika maombi yenu yote Mungu awasaidie, awajibu na awapatie yale yote mmemuomba. Thank you very much and God bless you.